What has the last few weeks been like as you think about the talent and the shift that's been undergoing in the last few weeks?
Oh, it is. Thank you for asking, and thank you for having me to speak for our Ukrainian employees. It's been a challenge that no one anticipated. 2 weeks ago, these people were leaving lives just like you and your families, where we had employees out for surgery and taking care of ill parents and vacationing. And the next thing you know, some of them were forced to make really challenging decisions about whether to try to go back or who to leave behind. It is a key part of our workforce. They are one of 5 engineering sites, extremely talented engineers, and they are so important to our business, both in a short-term and long-term capacity.
Yeah. Melissa, can you build on that here? Maybe give us some insights as to how you maintain sort of business continuity in this type of environment.
It's a great question. It's challenging because, as Sheri describes, people's lives are suddenly shifted. This morning, I spoke to the head of our Ukrainian team who was unable to leave, yet he was working out of a bunker. And that hits you home as people have had to flee their homes, but be able to also keep that business going, because what I think is not being realized is that companies are having to shift in the cloud, protect their data. Data centers, if they're on premise, are vulnerable, security concerns. So there is still business being generated in the Ukraine, but I think the most important thing is the continuity of the people, our employees, and also ensuring that they're protected and their families are secure.
Well said. Both of you coming from software companies, both of you understanding the infrastructure, the cyber, but talking from such an emotional and personal perspective, we thank you so much. Sheri, just talk to us a little bit about, as you're a veteran of the HR industry, human resources, how are you dealing with it? How are you supporting your people on the ground right now?
Oh, thank you for asking. We are working so hard to make sure that we are accounting for and touching base with each of our employees daily. We have 1/8 of our workforce there, 8% of our workforce there. And we thus far have been able to reach everyone every day to ensure that they are safe or accounted for. And that is something that's so important as we reassure them that they are remembered, not forgotten, and that we are helping provide them the best information we can to make decisions there on the ground about whether to relocate, how to go about doing that, is their banking available, what do they need to know if they're entering another country. These are critical questions that people are asking themselves in a time where all the information is changing minute by minute.
Melissa, we were talking in our previous segment about sort of the long-term ramifications of not only the humanitarian aspect of people leaving the country, but then going and taking the greatest asset with them, their brain. Have you started to look at the long-term effects of this country being such a key engineering hub, being such a great area for talent, what the implications does on that for a business when that looks differently maybe going forward?
You're spot on. It's an immense challenge because we invested in the Ukraine because of the technical talent, these deep, I'd say, mathematical skills that are highly specialized, especially with the emergence of cloud and getting more deeper into that. So I think there's a couple things. One is really focusing on all these women in tech that now have an opportunity to get jobs. Women are fleeing and they have to be responsible for their children being displaced from their significant others. So I think that opens up a job market opportunity that we need to be creative around. The second, I think, aspect is the pandemic. It's forced people to be digital, to work remotely, and so our employees are either expediting out of the country and or they're moving west and they're ensuring that they're secure, and that is essential in terms of giving skills. And so I think we need to be quite opportunistic around how we can access these skills because it's 4% of the tech market in terms of GDP for the Ukraine, which may seem small, but I think the global ramifications are quite large.
Well, I am curious, Melissa, then, are we thinking about brain drain maybe in the wrong sort of context? I mean, in years past, before technology became what it is today, where it's a little bit more ephemeral rather than tangible, brain drain was really about the physical movement of people, the physical movement of that talent and whatever sort of manufacturing they took with them. In this day and age, age where you can, in theory, work anywhere, does it lessen the impact at all?
I think it does.
Yeah.
And I think what's crucial in what is ensuring that people feel secure and that they have access to those resources. So we're guaranteeing that we will coverage employment for every single person. And I think that is important, giving them access to their computers, devices, no matter where they are. If they have to be relocated in Poland or Hungary, that they can still have the employment opportunities and remain consistent and stable.
Sheri, I'm going to ask a tough question here. I love that you weaved in, we have to think about all the elements here, not only how you get money to people, how you're ensuring you're still keeping them on the payroll, but Sheri, what about culture right now? And indeed, as people want to step in, want to support, want to put up their Ukrainian flags in element of support, what about the Russian employees you have? How are you managing to marry that difficult, tense conversation with one that is just supporting one's colleagues at the moment?
Oh, that is a great question, and I get goosebumps just thinking about it. We do have, we've had 2 employees in the Ukraine that actually are Russian, and that's a very challenging situation for them to manage through, and we fear for their safety, and we are doing our very best to make sure that when they weren't able to get out of their apartments or homes, that we had Kyiv employees who were willing to go out on the street and get supplies for them and take them food and supplies when they weren't comfortable getting out. There is nothing more that exhibits our culture than the willingness for a fellow employee to go into a known danger area to try to support the life of someone else that's a peer and a colleague for them. So the way that we are supporting those folks is the values of our company and so many of us in our country that I'm so proud of.
Melissa, quickly here, we've less than a minute. You also have a lot of employees in Russia as well. What have they been telling you? What are you doing to talk to them, support them?
We're supporting them every single day and ensuring that they have job opportunities to help our global company. I think the key thing is making them feel supported, communicating. We're donating match for match every single dollar, including to the Ukrainian employees, but the Russian employees are supporting. And we have a concept that we're one family, regardless of where you are. And I think that's important to manage because their lives are also equally disrupted in terms of employment opportunities as companies exit out of Russia.
We certainly saw a lot of that today, you guys, right? Coca-Cola, Starbucks, Pepsi, certainly seen a big pull out of there as well. Really appreciate this wide perspective.